See, that's what happened. You know, he was chairman 2 years ago. Yeah. Yes. And before chairman. He was at the University of Arizona in the science department. Yeah. I'm glad I'm here too.
David, I'll say one thing. I'm running right from here to coach, and I wanted to wear my shorts to this meeting, but I decided to wear long pants, and then I'd see you with your...
Oh, I wear shorts until December 1st, and then sometime in February when, I forget the date, President's Day or something, then I go back into shorts.
That's exactly what I do. Exactly. Good to see him.
Hey, David. How are you doing?
All right.
Good. Good to see you.
Get your raffle tickets. The pot is over $1,000. Get your raffle tickets.
Bobby. You know, I sponsor the role.
Yes, thank you very much. Great to see you, buddy.
Actually, what are we, 1-1 now? 2. Nice to enjoy it. Yeah.
Enjoy it well here somewhere.
Mr. Cliff. How are you, sir?
Jody. Good.
Dr. John,
My goodness.
I promised him I'd be here for my 80th birthday, so I'm here.
Oh, I thought you were here because of basketball.
Well, I'm not such a good person to be here for the coaches. I was here for Stoops, and I was here for the guy before this guy. And no one was any good at the Barnes.
Raffle tickets, get your raffle tickets. Pot is over $1,000.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. And no religion too. Imagine all the people living a life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope so brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one.
No, are you nuts? No, I had to run an errand first as long as I was in the car. I go to Cherry Belt to mail my letters. Oh yeah, for the museum of art. I get around. Yeah, look down here.
Good afternoon. Welcome. Welcome, Rotarians and our guests. If I can have people start to make their way to their seat, please. Oh, sit down. Oh. Welcome. If I could have you take your seats, please. Good afternoon, everyone. We really appreciate the turnout today. It certainly has been pre-pandemic, but it's been many, many years since we've had a group this size. So we appreciate you turning out. My suspicion is the reason for the turnout is you guys heard what a bang-up job I was doing since I took over as president, and that's probably... All right, we'll start off with our pledge and song is Michael Guyman with the Tucson Metro Chamber of Commerce. If I could have you come up here. Michael joined us in May of this year. So, Michael.
Thank you. Everyone please stand.
Flag are we using?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Everyone, please be seated. Before I have Joe come up to do the inspiration, I did want to give a quick update, and that has to do with our president-elect, Margaret Higgins. I think that you know, the last 2 months she's been in Australia. Last Friday, she was getting ready to head back to the States, and she ended up having a seizure, which she's never had before. They have done some testing on her, and she was fortunate enough that she's now the proud owner of a pacemaker. And so she is waiting to find out when she's going to actually be able to fly back. So it'll be a couple of weeks before she's here, and so next week we'll have some cards that it's going to go out to everybody. So just wanted to update you. Next up, Joe Denisewski, retired from Boy Scouts of America, member since June of 18. Joe.
Let's take a moment of silence for Margaret and hope that she gets better. Amen. Well, we talk about inspiration, and we can talk about perspiration, and we can talk about what success is. One thing that we know about success is nothing succeeds like success. Would you agree, Tommy? And after a season like last year, we're just blessed to have him as a head coach and have great things happen for this year. You know, I'd like to use some quotes from some of Tommy's peers and some of his fellow coaches. And I'm going to start with Mark Few, the head coach at Gonzaga University. What he says about Tommy: in our 20 years working together, Tommy has proven that he is one of the game's elite coaches and highest character people. This is an incredible opportunity for him to lead an incredibly storied program, and was a decision I know he carefully considered after receiving head coaching interest from many other schools over the years. Our university and the Spokane community will miss Tommy and his family dearly. I wish him the best, and I have no doubt he will lead Arizona to great success. Tony Bennett, head coach of the University of Virginia. What Tommy helped build at Gonzaga is remarkable. His coaching, recruiting, and competitiveness are what stand out to me. He's learned from one of the best in the game with Mark Few. What a great hire for Arizona and tremendous opportunity for Tommy. We also have head coach of University of Colorado, Tad Boyle. I look forward to competing against Tommy and welcome him to the Pac-12. He is exactly the kind of person and coach our conference needs to remain one of the most competitive in the country. Tommy's track record of success and experience building and coaching championship caliber teams will benefit him tremendously as he now leads a program of his own. What do you think? Good. And then finally, from Scott Drew, the head coach of Baylor University, I am a Tommy Lloyd supporter and have been for years. I expect to see Tommy on opposing sidelines in March for many years to come, just like we did this past season. His enthusiasm and passion for coaching, paired with his knowledge of the game and global ties to the basketball community, make him a wonderful choice as head coach of the Wildcats. Do we have an inspirational coach? Yes. Let's hear it for our coach.
All right, enjoy your time. As far as we're going to have lunch served, and we'll get started with the program in another 10 or 15 minutes. Thank you.
The only one that ever goes over the time allotted. He says that we're about 5 minutes and 15 minutes later it's still be off. Are you having fun yet, Bruce?
What's that?
Are you having fun yet?
I'm having a good time.
What are they doing to your office building?
Well, they're in the process of, you're talking about River Camp. Basically, they're kind of reskinning, they're updating the exterior.
Welcome back. I know everybody's eating. Some people are still getting their food, but we need to move along with the program. We have a few items we're going to take care of before getting the coach up to speak. So, Dan, if I can, I've got Dan Combs with State Farm Insurance, Oral Roberts University, to do a quick introduction of guests.
Welcome everybody. Welcome to Rotary. Those at home, please stand up and take a bow in your living room. Those in the audience, if you're a guest, would you please, if you are a guest, would you please stand up? We have 59 guests, too many to announce. 59 guests. Welcome to Rotary. If you enjoy the program today, I encourage you to see one of us and come back another time. I do have a really quick question, and maybe you all can help me. So my question for Coach Tommy is, if basketball players wear basketball shorts and jockeys wear jockey shorts, what does the president wear? Depends.
You know, that I think that deserves a fine. So, you know, I want to have a quick acknowledgement. So if I could just briefly have Dave and Bert come up front for a second. As our members know, they've actually been honorary members of the Rotary Club of Tucson. Bert has been for a year, and Tommy has been since 2018. But they don't make it all that often. And so we happen to have, you know, these certificates as your honorary members. So if you could just come up here to get these so, you know, I can get them off of my plate. So. I don't know if that'll get them back here more often or we never see them again. So.
Thank you. Thank you. It's official now?
Thank you. Absolutely. It is. It is. Thank you. Hey, Bert, you're not done yet. So the other thing is, for those of you that don't know, is HSL Properties they were a sponsor of this program today. And we've received support from them in the past. And Bert, I don't know if you want to come up and maybe say a few words, but we do appreciate the support of the club and also having you as a member.
Thank you. Well, I don't know if I was invited or I'm welcome. Anyway, thank you so much for 59 guests being here today. First of all, I hope we're in a safe environment because we have 100% of our executives in here. So if something were to happen, including me, HSL Properties is gone. So, we have Omar, who leads the team. Omar Morales, stand up and so they know who you are. And Glenn Toyoshima, who 47 years ago, Glenn and I started HSL Properties Inc. He lives in California. He never wanted to move to Tucson, but he does come in once in a while to say hi and pick up a check. So, and Dave Hickey, boy, where are you? Where'd you go? Are they done? You're not saying anything? Dave, congratulations. You have 3 great coaches, baseball, football, and basketball. You've done a great job. And I want to say a couple of words about Tommy. Tommy, when I first met him, the first thing he asked me, how can I get involved with the Hispanic community? And that's a complete change from what we had before. He's involved in the community. You see him all over the place. Center of Opportunity. He goes out there. He takes his kids. They volunteer. At the San Diego game, I'm sitting out there with in your suite, and he says, hey, Bert, I'd like to give 1,000, 2,000 tickets to the Hispanic community on the south side, those people that have never been to a basketball game or ever seen the McKill Center. Can you help me do that? And I'll pay for half of it, and you pay for half of it. I'd be happy to. So we went to work, and I think it's going to happen. So on the 29th, the day before the red and blue game, we're going to be passing out about I think we're up to 1,500 tickets right now, and if there are any leftovers, we'll get up to 2,000 tickets that we'll be given to the south side, or anybody who's never been to a basketball game. So thank you, Tommy.
That's awesome. Appreciate you giving back to the community that way. And next, if I can invite up John Wong to introduce our speaker. John's been a member since 1983 with Tucson Orthopedic Institute, graduate of Princeton, and former Rotary Club president back in '06 and '07. John.
Do you need something to stand on?
I am standing. Thank you, President Bruce. Well, we're very happy today to have Coach Tommy Lloyd here. I'm here to give you a little background. He's a Washington State native, went to high school and college there. He played professionally for 2 years. He was in Australia and he was in Germany. Then he began his coaching career. And as has already been said, he spent more than 20 years with the legendary coach at Gonzaga, Mark Few. Gonzaga has been selected for the NCAA tournament every year for the past 21 and has been ranked number 1 in the U.S. 5 times, including last year. Only 3 teams in the last 20 years have averaged more than 80 points per game. Those 3 teams are Duke, North Carolina, and Gonzaga. So Lloyd's 22 years at Gonzaga made him the logical choice to head that program when Mark Few retires. But instead, he showed his courage and confidence when he decided to leave the security at Gonzaga and come to Wildcat Country in April 2021. It was a risky career move. Coming to Arizona, where the future was still clouded by the prospect of being crippled by NCAA for alleged prior violations. Recruiting was in disarray, and the established offense was entirely different from what he would bring. So, how did the journey go from April 21 to April 22? Methodically and effectively, he demonstrated his skills in recruiting players and assistant coaches, teaching a whole new system of basketball, communicating well with players and with the community, as you've just heard. And in his first 12 months, he led the team to become the only Pac-12 team ever to win 18 regular season conference games, and for the whole season, 33 games. For a first-year NCAA coach, this is a record, second only to that of Bill Guthridge at North Carolina in 1998. Those circumstances were very different because Guthridge in North Carolina was transitioning from Dean Smith, for whom he had been first assistant for many years. So for Guthridge, it was like stepping into a smooth lake. Tommy Lloyd's move was like plunging into a treacherous whirlpool. Anyway, by the end of those 12 months, here's what how the awards came in. End of season awards as follows. National Coach of the Year by number 1, the Basketball Coaches Association. Number 2, the Basketball Writers Association. Number 3, the Associated Press. National Coach of the Year. He is the first ever Arizona basketball coach to win any of these awards. He's with us today to talk about today's team and the outlook for the coming season. Tommy Lloyd.
Well, thank you. I mean, when I sit there and listen to that, sometimes I wonder who they're talking about. But first off, it's great to see all you guys. And as Bert said, I was going to mention, I'm glad he mentioned our little joint effort. And, you know, I really value living here and being in the community. And, you know, I was speaking with somebody yesterday, somebody who I really kind of lean on to, you know, bounce ideas off and help kind of guide me, you know, through my journey. And I told him, one of the things that really fuels me is, walking in the grocery store and, seeing the, I used to say older people, or something, with an Arizona hat, going on campus, seeing the kids wearing Arizona shirts. You drive by an elementary school, there's a little kid getting dropped off, he's got a Block A shirt on, and it's really a community thing, and that fuels me, because I know, my job for you guys is to represent you and to entertain you. I know that. There's a reason, that I live a pretty good life, is because there's value in that stuff, and so just understand that motivates me every day, and is to represent you guys and to put a great product out for you, and and then, to be honest with you, going out and kicking ass for you. That motivates me every single day. So, when I looked on my schedule, and I'm kind of a day-to-day type of guy, and I saw on there it said, Rotary Club dinner at noon. I'm like, dinner? I know we have an older fan base, but noon? That's getting a little ridiculous. So no. But the first thing when Dr. Wong, didn't ask me, he told me I had to speak at this deal. And you don't know how many times I've gotten this in this community is like, you know what Lute used to do? And I get that all the time. Lute used to do this. Lute used to do that. And so you know what? Hey, if Lute did it, I'll do it. I got no problem. So I'll follow in those footsteps gladly. Yeah. But I wanted to bring somebody with me who's been really special to me in my transition, Coach Roz. And a lot of you guys know him. And he doesn't he doesn't ask for it, he doesn't want it, but he definitely doesn't get honored enough, because I know what he meant to this program, because I was him. 22 years, in a good way. You serve a Hall of Fame coach for 22 years. That Hall of Fame coach doesn't get there on his own. And it's funny. I showed up in a gym in Las Vegas to recruit last night, and I walked in, and I'm like, oh, Mark Few, of course, and of course my old boss is sitting right there. So, and those guys would openly acknowledge it. But I know, they have this thing called the Assistant Coaches Hall of Fame, of all things. You guys probably haven't heard of it, and somehow I got, inducted into that. And I know this guy. I feel a pretty good feeling he's going to go in pretty soon. It's well deserved. He's had a legendary career, and I get emotional thinking about it, because I know what guys like that mean to the program, and it's guys like him that make me want to come to Arizona and produce for you guys. And obviously I'm a little bit emotional, but I've had a ton of fun with him. I've tried hiring him every day since I've been here. He keeps rejecting my offer, and one of these days you'll see he's going to be on our staff. You'll see him down on that bench, and and maybe I'll regret the day I do hire him. Because sometimes I tell him he's got more answers than I got questions. So I'm going to let Coach Ross come up here and have the stage and speak for a moment, and then I'll get back up here and you guys can fire a few questions at me. But without further ado, Coach Jim Rosborough.
Well, I cry around the girls all the time. I'm coaching girls now, and then this dude gets up here and breaks me up. I am coaching girls out at Pima now, and you wonder, is there any difference in how you coach the girls? Number one, I'll say not at all. You get on, and just as Tommy said, now you don't follow us as closely, but our job is to get out and kick butt for this community, which we try to do. We've done a good job. Couple differences. Izzy Spruitt hit 7 threes out at Western, obviously a great shooter, tied Matt Othick, but about twice or 3 times a week, Coach, come over here during practice. Her eyelash had fallen off. Put this in your pocket, would you? So I hold it for her. Get home and you wash your shorts, and down in the bottom there's the old eyelash. And then the other one that happens all the time is, Coach, my fingernail came off. So you got to put the fingernail in the pocket and hold that. Get home and wash that too. So now I have been in the community for a while. I have not been down here, and I was sitting here thinking, and I think I know the reason. Everybody in the room is still mad about 2005.
I get it. I'm still mad about it myself, so in any event, yeah, good to be here. And I am going to say this is the truth. Now, listen carefully. And it makes me a little emotional because you said it. I worked with a great, great coach. You all know that. Lloyd Olson was magnificent. Great person to work for. You may not agree with everything he did, but the guy was a genius. This guy's times 3. I'm telling you right now. You've got as good a coach as you're going to find in the country. Unbelievable coach. He asked me down. This was really nice. He invited me down to his first kind of staff meeting, and he had about 6 pages of stuff written out. And I'm sitting there and saying, my gosh, I've never seen anything like this. And again, I was there with a brilliant guy, and we made changes and so on and so forth. You're looking, I don't mean to flatter him, but you're looking at a genius. So you guys that hired him, you couldn't have gotten a better person. And, you talk about 1997, winning a national title. I would tell you it's going to happen here. You don't talk about it, and I've kind of told him, the more you talk about it, the less chance you have. I learned that from a guy named J.D. Barnett at Tulsa. He said, Jim, if I ever hear you mention Final Four, I'm going to fire your butt right now. So the point is, don't talk about it. Don't let people in the paper talk about it, but he's going to win one for you. A great coach. You're lucky to have him. Works for great people. We love the university. We love the town. Appreciate Tommy asking me down today. I'll come back and talk a little bit more our program. If you ever run out of speakers, I'll be back here. I got practice today. I got people waiting to shoot. And if you're a coach, shoot with arc and shoot them straight. That's all I got to say. So in any event, thank you very much. Appreciate Coach having me down.
All right, tough act to follow. Okay, so you guys want to know a little bit about this year's team, I guess, huh? Well, it was an adventurous offseason, to say the least. I thought we were going to get through it, and man, I'm going to get to take a breath, and, things are going to come easy and just fall into place, and you know what? It's not how life works. And, I just told my wife, it feels like every day I get up, and I probably describe it to her another way, but it feels like I get punched in the gut every day, and then you just have to get up from that, and you had to figure it out. And, and then I'm talking about recruiting and losing some of the guys to the NBA draft. But, I'm really happy for those guys. And I wish just somebody would tell me, hey, Dalen Terry's going to get picked 18th in the draft. Let him go. And I gladly would have let him go. But if you don't know, you end up in this kind of in-between area where you're hoping they come back, and but you want the best for them. And so when we lost Dalen, Christian, and of course we were planning on losing Ben, it was like we got some work to do. And then this recruiting stuff with these transfers and just the timing of when kids can have to make their final decision whether they're coming or going puts a lot of pressure on a coaching staff to kind of put together a good team. And we're fortunate to have some really good returning players, and we were fortunate to get a couple of transfers that I think are really going to help us. And I think we have some young kids you guys are really going to grow to love. And one of the things, I'm not against one and dones, but it's definitely not my forte. And I definitely want kids that stay in this program for multiple years, and you guys grow to love, and we kind of all watch them grow up together, and we have some of those kids coming in the program right now that I think you guys are going to be, really impressed with. I'll start with the returning players real quick. We have a really good core, with Kerr Creasa, and believe it or not, Kerr's really easy to coach. You guys probably wouldn't know that. Most days, I hope it continues to be like that, but that's been my experience so far. And I love having him on our team, and he had a really good summer playing for his national team, and hopefully we're gonna see the benefits of that. We got Pella Larson, and Pella, I think is really, he kind of got injured right at the start of last season. And, and it kind of set him back a little bit, but, he battled through and really played a really important role for us. And I think he's made a huge jump. We got a Julius Tabellis, and I think, I know I hear it a lot, and trust me, I'm tougher on Zoo than anybody, but, he had a couple tough games down the end of the season, and, the tough games against tough opponents. But he really dedicated himself this summer and spent a lot of time here, and I think we had a good summer, kind of, fixing some things and helping him take a big step forward, because the guy's all Pac-12 player as a sophomore, which is pretty hard to do. So so we're expecting great things out of him. And then Umar Ballo, Umar, it's really cool to see, because like you guys probably don't know the whole history like I do. I recruited Umar, and when Umar was 15 years old, he was about as big as he is now. And he earned the nickname Baby Shaq, and he kind of had these really huge performances overseas, and he was kind of people thought he might be like a prodigy, and so we ended up getting him at Gonzaga, and he just struggled, for whatever reason, and so struggled, lost his confidence, got out of shape. I mean, it was tough to watch. And when I got the job down here, I had some people in my inner circle who said, "Whatever you do, leave Ballo in Spokane." And I thought, man, that's just not who I am. I was like, this kid doesn't have a dad. His dad died when he was two. His mom, lives in Africa, only speaks a dialect, like a local language, doesn't speak French, English, and so like, this kid's carrying a lot on his shoulders. And I said, you know what? If I quit on him, I can't trust the next guy. We'll stick with him. So I said, I'm bringing him. And I brought him with me, and he kind of re-energized him, and he's made, he made really big progress last year and really helped us. And, I got to give a ton of credit to our staff. I mean, you guys probably don't know him maybe personally. You might know Jack Murphy, Coach Rob, but I have this crazy Italian guy who's really emotional, but he's really talented. He's like my little brother. I mean, he's really talented. And he did an unbelievable job just fighting for Umar and kind of breathing life into him. And so it's been really cool. I mean, that's what you do it for. That's what's really rewarding, and you guys don't get to know all those stories. And, because every one of these kids struggles. Trust me, I always tell them, my biggest job is to help you with struggle, because you're going to struggle. I promise you. I could write a book on struggle. I could write a book on every great player that we've ever had struggle. Coach Ross could well. I mean, I'm sure if you said Andre Iguodala, he'd be like, yeah, let me tell you a story about when he was really struggling. I mean, every player, and you wouldn't know, but every player has them. It's just, it's part of the growth process. So that's my job. So it's really cool to see him, and I think you guys are going to continue to see him take a bigger role for us and have a good year. We have another kid who played a little bit at the end of last year, but I'm kind of counting him as a newcomer, Adama Ball. I mean, Adama is just, he came last year. Adama should have been playing at South Point. I mean, I don't know, or Catfoot, whatever you guys want him. You guys can put him wherever you want. He was 17 years old. And so he's a baby. And so, I took him in mind that we're gonna develop this kid and work with them. And then in year 2, he's going to be ready to help. And I think he is. I think you guys are going to see him play a much bigger role for us. And then transfer-wise, we got a kid out of Texas. You got all these COVID stuff now, so these kids can play for like 18 years. And we have a kid, Courtney Ramey, who's going to be, I think he'll probably be right there to push for a starting spot for us. And if he did, it'll be his 5th year being a starter in a major college program. He started for 4 years at Texas, and he's a really good guard and just a very good two-way player. I mean, and he's great defensively, he's good offensively, and just a high character, great guy. And then a kind of another transfer fell in our lap, a kid named Cedric Henderson from Campbell University, and you guys are going to like him. He's got a great personality. He's got a great smile, and he's a really good player. And he's a kind of a 6'6" wing, and yeah, I mean, he's pretty dynamic, and I think he's going to really help us at both ends of the floor. And then we got some young guys. So we signed a 7-foot kid at a Perry High School up in the Phoenix area, a kid named Dylan Anderson, and it's another fun part to see in this thing is you get him in the first couple of days of practice, and you look at your staff, and you're like, who brought this guy in here? Because I don't know. And you say that about every guy, but the progress he made the last 3 months has been awesome, and like he's really gotten to the point where I'm like, yeah, he might be able to help us this year. So it's been really fun to see him progress. And then we have another American kid who came to us kind of late, and he's a kid named Kylan Boswell, and you guys are going to love him. I mean, he's something special. And, his role's kind of yet to be determined this year because, this kid legitimately should be at South Point because he was a junior in high school 3 months ago. And then some things happened that caused him to want to accelerate things, and he was a great student, so he was able to graduate, and he's coming to us a year early, and he doesn't turn 18 till May. But But when you guys see him on the court, you're going to be like, his body don't look 17, you know, like he probably could go play for Jed this Saturday. I mean, he's a powerfully built point guard, and but he was in most analysts and in my view, he was the number 1 point guard in the country in the class of 2023. And he chose Arizona because he loved everything about it, and this is where he wanted to come, and he made no bones about it. So we're lucky to have him. So I think you just keep an eye on him. You know, I mean, I think we'll see how it plays out over the course of this year, but somebody who has a special future. And then we have 2 other international guys. We have a 6'8" kid who I love. Is Philip. I don't even know if I can pronounce his last name, but I'm pretty good at those. He's from Serbia. It's Philip B, I call him, you know, so just, but I think he's got like 14 letters in his last name. And but Philip is really talented. He might be a little bit more of a development year for him, but he's a 6'8" guard who has legitimate guard skills, and he's learning things every day. He's struggling. He's having success. He's having head-scratching moments, and it's a lot of fun. But you know what's great about it? He does it with a smile on his face. So I love that. And then we got one more 7-foot kid that you guys you're gonna probably walk in and say, how can this guy play? How can somebody that skinny play? But he's 7 foot and he's all arms and legs, but he's strong, he's aggressive, he's mobile, and he's really, really talented. His name's Henry Visar. And Henry, I don't know if this is going to be a good thing or a bad thing, but he's also from Estonia with Kerr. So I don't know if Kerr's going to be big brothering him a lot this year and bullying him a little bit on the court, but he's really talented. And so I'm expecting big things from him. So, you know, for me, the outlook is, listen, I'm never going to overpromise and underdeliver. I mean, you know, I want to have a good fall camp. I want to get off to a good start this season. You know, we obviously have a ton of challenges in our schedule. You know, Maui field is going to be, we're in Maui, which is going to be really hard, and it's just 3 games in 3 days. It's a lot of stress on a team. You know, we have some non-conference games at home. We got a big date in Vegas. Hopefully you guys can make, you know, and we were talking about Vegas earlier, and we play Indiana on December 10th in Las Vegas. And, you know, one of the things that kind of sticks out to me, and Dave might remember this as well, is, you know, all I'd ever heard about is, McHale North. You know, when you get to Vegas, it's McHale North. Okay, that's awesome. You know, I'd be used to that. When I was at Gonzaga, we used to play in a little smaller arena, you know, at the Orleans Arena in Vegas, and they called it, you know, Spokane South, you know, or Spo Vegas or whatever. And because, you know, all our fans come. Because just make no bones about it. The 2 basketball programs in the West that are supported more than any, it's Gonzaga and Arizona. And that's why I came here. You know what I mean? Because you guys had a fan base, and I wanted to be a part of that. So, but getting back to Vegas, so we play early November. We play a tournament there. It's a 4-team tournament. Us against Wichita State, Michigan against UNLV, and I'm hearing McHale North. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be great. We're coming. We're playing in a big arena. It's gonna be, you know, red and blue everywhere. Show up. We're playing Wichita State, and I'm like, there's some Arizona fans, and a few of you were there. A few of you, and there's a lot more red, black, and yellow Wichita State in there, and I'm thinking, this is McHale North, and well, we won a tough game in overtime, and then we had the next day where I think we put everybody on notice. I mean, Michigan came in number 4, and we just ran them off the court, and then we get back to the Pac-12 tournament in March, and I'm like, and to see the fan base come out, because I know there was a little bit of a wait and see. But now that was McHale North, you know, and that last day when we played UCLA, and, you know, we found a way to win that game without Creasa, it was special. I mean, it was 90% Arizona fans, and, you know, you could see that, you know, the other coaching staff was like, are you kidding me? I mean, we're supposed to be all this and that, and you know, but it was all navy and red, you know. There were no whatever you call their powder blue color, you know. They're none, and it was awesome. So I thank you guys for that. I knew you were there, and I knew you were coming, but I also know I got a responsibility. I got to deliver, and you know, and once we kind of showing some proof of concept and that we could deliver, you guys came out and got behind us, and it was awesome. So thank you for that. So, you know, hey, I mean, I want to get this team ready, and my only goal every season is to compete for championships. And so that's what we're going to do. I mean, we'll find out, you know, bit by bit how that looks. but I like our pieces. I love the challenge we have in front of us. I know we're going to play with a chip on our shoulder because I know I got one. And, you know, you know, I think we're going to come out and we're going to have another fun season to continue to build on what we do. And I love the scoring over 80 points deal. I mean, last year, I don't know, what did we average, Coach Ross? Come on, we were in the 80s, right? Yeah, so we were in the 80s. So, I mean, that I don't sit there and dwell on that thing every day, but it's a byproduct of how we play. We're going to play fast. We're going to play aggressive. We're going to share the ball. We're going to have fun. We're going to play with a little bit of personality and energy. And you know, and I encourage you guys to come to the games with some personality and some swag, and don't come there to observe. Come to participate. You know, how often do you get to come yell at the top of your lungs? You know, like you know, you do it out in pub. You did it here, people think you're a little crazy, and but there it's normal. So we welcome that, and we appreciate your guys' support. So you guys want to ask me any softball questions? Nothing hard hitting. What do you got?
Is it Gonzaga or Gonzaga?
Oh, well, listen, first off, we talked way too much about Gonzaga today. Okay, so let's get that out there. It's Gonzaga, zigzag, but yeah, but we don't need to worry about those guys. Yep.
He's a Sun Devil, by the way. Yeah, I was just about to
Oh,
say,
wow. Ooh. Next question,
I'm
please.
not
Next
mentioning
question,
that. I have nothing to talk about them. They're disappointing. Twofold question on NIL. How are you managing it as a, you know, director of a program? And do you think that it has the potential to keep kids in school longer?
Yeah, for sure. Great questions. I mean,
Go Devils.
next question. Hey, I would say, you know, I think of a few words come to mind when I think about NIL and how we want to handle it. You know, we want to be respectful. We want to be respectful to the game of basketball. We want to be respectful to the fans, the boosters, and you know, and it's a totally new thing. You know, so we're not trying to be egregious and crazy. We want to be impactful because it is something that's real. And you know, we in order to compete for national championships, you're going to have to be in the game. Now, does that mean you're going to have to have the highest payroll? No. Not by any stretch. What it means is, you know, you got to find the right kids, and then, you know, they got to feel valued in a way that makes them want to come to Arizona. I know this. A lot of the kids we've recruited, you know, that have decided to come, you know, that I really can't talk about, have not asked about NIL one time. You know, that doesn't mean that there won't be some NIL stuff for them, but so I think, you know, we're still trying to do it the same way. I mean, we want kids to come to college because they want to be developed. They want to be in a great culture. Because at the end of the day, I still think that's going to trump all others. That's going to be the winning formula. Because, you know, we've seen, you know, these power teams or, you know, these elite recruits go somewhere, and you can sit down and say, well, what really came of that? You know, and so I want to make sure that we're bringing the right guys in here to compete as a team for championships, and that's what we're always going to do. And yeah, I mean, I think it can be something, you know, that as communities get to know kids and they want to stick around and businesses are interested in engaging with them, I think there will be a retention aspect to it too. But a lot of this is so new. You know, it's a lot. I mean, you know, when you say NIL, I want to take a deep breath and kind of exhale and like, okay, how are we figuring this thing out? And but, you know, as Dave knows, we're learning a lot. We're working hand in hand and going kind of in step by step. And we're not trying to act like we have all the answers either. Any other questions? You guys are easy. Yeah. Oh, Bert. I mean, if it was up to me, that's a great. I mean, for one, I would have the athletic departments, you know, run it and manage it. I mean, I think that would be a way cleaner, way more succinct process. And two, listen, I just wish, hey, can I sit there and live the life I live, and, you know, we can say whatever, how I got there, didn't, or whatever, and you know, it's a pretty good life. And then fill an arena and expect the players and say they should get nothing. You can't say that. It's hard for me to say. So I think there is a value there for the players, and I wish somebody would figure out what that value was, and I wish they got that number, and then we just moved on and went about business as usual, and I didn't sit here worrying about this or that, or, you know, I mean, to me, that's how I wish it was handled. That was my solution. but I don't think that's going to work. There's these thing called laws, and these other things. Probably a few of them in here. Plug your ear. Lawyers. There's some of those things too that just, that make it tough. Yep.
Quick question. First of all, thank you for being here. Thank you for being at Rotary. Thank you for being in Tucson. Great hire, Dave. We just had the opportunity to go through the Baltic, including Estonia, Finland, and all of the Baltic countries. And you say, we're from Arizona. They went, oh, you have a good basketball team.
Nice. I like that. Yeah.
So they're really, really hot in basketball up there,
Yeah.
and Arizona, not the state, University of Arizona is getting a good reputation up there too. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, we we're pretty good in Lithuania. We're pretty good in Estonia, and you might see another player or two come from there in the near future. So.
Segueing into what Candy was talking about, you do a lot of recruitment with European players, and the NIL won't allow them to participate. Is anything being done to address that?
Well, I mean, I think there's people that are trying to address that, but I think what you got to understand about those kids is the way their basketball system's set up over there. If they wanted to make money, they would sign a contract because there's a professional system and club system that they can go do that. They don't have to get drafted into the NBA or anything. So those kids are choosing to come to the NCAA for the education, or or coming in, hey, I want to develop in America because I think it's the best chance for me to get to the NBA. So those kids are still making the decision based on the same values they were before NIL. So, yep.
So what's happening with the USC UCLA defection out of Pac-12? Well, how's that going to affect us?
Well, that I'm not going to make Dave come up here and answer it, but I mean, listen. To be honest with you, here's what I know, and I'll just say this from maybe you think it's a selfish standpoint, but from being the head coach at Arizona basketball, I don't care what conference we're in. Don't matter to me. We're going to be great, and our brand and our Arizona basketball program supersedes any conference. I was just a part of a program for a lot of years. It was in a conference called the WCC, the West Coast Conference, not a Power 6 conference. And I know we were almost winning national championships. We were right there, and we were good enough to do it. So we're going to do the same thing in Arizona, regardless of whatever conference we're in.
Coach, you want to highlight your schedule for the coming year?
Excuse me?
Highlight your schedule for the coming year, teams to watch?
Man, if I had it in front of me, I'd be better. I mean, obviously you got the Pac-12 schedule, and then our big highlights in the non-conference. Scheduling was tough this year. It's complicated. So we have the game in Vegas against Indiana. We have a Maui field, the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of Thanksgiving week, which is really tough. I mean, we open with Cincinnati, who will be a battle. And then hopefully we play the winner of San Diego State, Ohio State. On the other side, you got Arkansas, Texas Tech, Creighton, and I'm probably missing another school, but all these top 25 schools. So it's going to be a battle. And but it's great. I mean, we welcome that. And then we got Tennessee's coming here. We owe Tennessee one. They got us there last year. So we got them coming here, kind of mid-December-ish. I think maybe like a week after that. So maybe like the 17th of December. And then, you fill it in with a couple other games to help your team gain experience and hopefully have some success. And then, you got the Pac-12 schedule. So, scheduling something, as this conference stuff plays out, and I kind of get, my feet on the ground and know exactly what it looks like a little bit better, that I definitely want to ramp it up and I want to be aggressive. But, maybe a little bit of a wait and see attitude right now while everything's playing out.
Coach, with all the talent that you had last year, and it sounds like you have it again this year, how do you keep all those people happy? There's only so much time in a game.
Well, you treat them right, and you make sure that you have a plan for every guy, and they understand, why they're playing, why they're not playing. If you're not playing, what is the pathway to playing, and you're honest with them. That's how I approach it. Maybe you don't bat 1,000 with that approach, but for me, it's been by far the most successful. Is just being honest with them, and so, yeah. And then the other part, you know what? Probably more important than we don't talk about enough. You get great guys. You recruit great guys that are team people and unselfish and mature enough to have real conversations with. That's a huge part of it, and we got that. We got that for sure.
Last questions. One more in the back.
Well, they're making you run. You're going corner to corner.
Are you staying in touch with him?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and Justin, what a great kid. And man, we were lucky to have him. I mean, I wish he's one of those kids I wish we could have for another year. And my last conversation with Justin, he was here a few weeks ago. Actually, Dalen, Ben, and Christian all came back and kind of hung out with our guys, and it was a lot of fun. A few weeks back, and the last conversation I had with him, it looked like he was gonna play in the G League this year and kind of wait it out. And I've encouraged him to really look at Europe because I just think he's got such a good personality, and his personality and just way to accept people and be accepted by people, I think will take him a long way over there, and I think he'll have a great career. So but that's a daunting task to move to Europe, and when you're young 20s. So play in the G League, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But he's definitely gonna have a career, and he's a good player for sure. Yeah. All right, yes, sir. I mean, those are big questions, and I don't see it really negatively impacting U of A basketball. I mean, there's kids. It puts a lot on those kids' plate to make a decision really early in life. It's kind of a big decision, and I was meeting with a recruit a couple nights ago, and he's a pretty good player. He's got a chance to be pretty good, and there's all these external forces around these kids, and they're telling them, hey, you could be a one and done, you could do this, you could do that. And I just told his parents, I said, do you want me to write a prescription for future depression for your child? If you do, I'm going to put you're a one and done on there, and then just hand it to them, and then it's really hard. And then what happens to these kids is, the social media pressure, the pressure of their circle around them, and the external forces I'm talking about, try to build them up to get in a good way with these kids. So if the kids have some sort of success, they hope they get a piece of it. And it, just to kind of boil it down, and what happens is these kids are told at 16, 17 that they're going to be this, they're going to be that, and you know what? It's a lot harder than that. And a lot of them don't make it, and then at 19 years old, 20 years old, they feel like they failed, and they're just starting their lives. And so, we try to avoid all those conversations. And I always tell the kids, like, listen, I want you to be a pro, but for me, and from my experience with 24 years in this, it's obvious when you're a pro. It's obvious. And so wait for those obvious signs, and give yourself the biggest window possible to find those signs. And, don't look for a glimmer of hope in the corner. And then, there's a huge risk if you do that. And So that's I don't know what impact it'll have, but for me, it is a touchy subject because I just think you're opening up the door for a lot more kids to maybe fail and struggle. Oh, that's pretty heavy, huh? So, well, guys, it's been a pleasure. I know Coach has practice, I have practice, so I look forward to seeing you guys out there in a few months. Let's go.
Coach, thanks for coming. Just for our guests to know, is we've supported literacy and Make Way for Books for many, many years. So we always ask our speaker to go ahead and sign a book that we're able to donate to the Children's Library at Make Way for Books, and he's signing Basketball Buddies. All right, we're going to move on to a couple of birthdays now. First up is Curtis Dawson. Curtis is with the YMCA, Evergreen State College, And, you know, we normally always ask people, you know, sort of like something that we didn't know about him, and I was kind of surprised. He seems clean and wholesome, but he says he likes to smoke stuff. Is brisket, pork, jerky, salmon, so...
We have so much in common. Washington State native, moved to Tucson. You coach basketball. I work at the Y. We invented basketball. HSL sponsored this because of you and my birthday. I mean, it's just so much in common. There, you're clapping for him, not me. I know. It's okay. So yesterday was my birthday. I'm finally 21, can legally buy wine. Thank you. Thank you. I want to thank my sponsor, Dave Gallagher, who's probably out camping somewhere, and I want to thank the best mentor that anybody could ever ask for, who's taught me so much, who's gotten me to where I am in life today, Bobby Larson. And Doreena's going to bill me for some funds for a donation, so thank you very much.
Thanks, Curtis. Next up, David Pascoe. David, we are happy to have you back here. I know it's been a little bit. Retired from a commodities broker from the Chicago Mercantile, University of Illinois, and something that I just found out about David this morning is that he personally shook hands with both Joe Louis and Muhammad Ali.
Thank you all for coming out for my birthday. I really appreciate this. People ask me what it's like to be 80. Well, you love to learn to love ramps, and you'll hate stairs. Other than that, when you lay there in bed and you listen to yourself wrinkle, it's not bad. I still can't get around my head that I'm 80, but thank you very much. Take care.
All right, Scott Vaughn, if I can have you make your way up, we've got a couple of Paul Harris presentations, and no more birthdays. And so if we can have Candy Hirsch and Monty Clausen come up here in the front.
Let the bag out of the cat.
I know. Thank you very much. Happy birthday. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. What a meeting, eh? You know, the Paul Harris Fellowship is awarded to individuals whose gift to Rotary International, when they reach $1,000, they get the award. And it can be earned again and again. Are you guys listening? Okay. All you have to do, you know, and it can be designated even to honor whomever the donor wishes. So we do come closer to a world of peace and understanding through these Paul Harris Fellows, and I'm honored and humbled, truly, to be part of this process. Fellow Rotarian Candy Hirsch is receiving her Paul Harris Fellow +3. Candy is a 5-year member of our club, and her sponsor was the lovely Gary Hirsch. Hey, Gary. Candy leads 3 business roundtables in Tucson, Women's Presidents Organization. Her business just celebrated its 10th anniversary, and due to popular demand, her 3rd group was just added this summer. Candy is a licensed professional counselor and a professional facilitator. She provides workshops like emotional intelligence, positive intelligence, as well as coaching leaders and leadership teams. In her past life, she was an entrepreneur, massage therapist, for example. Yes, she ran the seated massage program for Marriott International in Bethesda, Maryland. She also founded the Massage Shop, a retail seated massage concession in the Baltimore-Washington International Airport. She does hold a business administration BA from the University of Florida and a master's in psychology from St. Martin's University in Olympia, Washington. And if that's not enough, she was trained by the College of Executive Coaching. She's married to her fellow Rotarian Gary Hirsch, and she enjoys swimming and biking and her 2 shepherds, Neo and Trinity. So when asked why she supports Rotary International programs, she responds, "I love what Rotary International does because I'm passionate about making life better for others. If there is a road to heaven, I think this is it." Congratulations to Candy on your Paul Harris Fellow +3. Now, Monty Clausen is receiving his Paul Harris Fellow +4. Too bad. Yeah. Monty was born in Hampton, Iowa, and then at the University of Arizona, he earned his undergrad degree in education. He's a member of Phi Gamma Delta, along with fellow Rotarians Emery Barker, Tim Putney, and also the late Sky Leininger and George Hawk. He was also elected president of the class of 1963, but really his fame was he was a starter for the U of A basketball team for 3 years. Woo-hoo-hoo! Wait, but you know, he was ridiculed by at the U of A by his basketball teammates for getting tongue-tied around co-eds. And then he was shocked, and he shocked them all when he was voted the most eligible bachelor on campus. So Monty did serve 2 years in the Army and then decided to go to law school, a decision he never regrets. And after being in private practice for 20 years, he joined the United States Attorney's Office as a trial lawyer. And there he served until retired in 2020. And not forgetting his roots at the U of A, he served as president of the UA Alumni Letterman's Club for 27 years. More recently, term limits have been applied. A 19-year member of our club, he and Joni have been married for 32 years, and they have 18 grandchildren. Here are their names. No. Okay, look. Monty supports Rotary International programs, saying, "I feel fortunate to contribute to the worthy projects of Rotary." So congratulations, Monty, on your Paul Harris +4. Wait a minute. Come over here. There's just a little bit more. I wonder if it's all here. So, for our gifts of little or no value, for you, Candy, we have 2 dog pull toys in Rotary Blue for Neo and Trinity. Oh, it's a little one. Good. And in recognition of your 3 women's presidents' organizations, a copy of Robert's Rules of Order. Okay. And Monty, since you may have misplaced it over the last 59 years, we have the 1963 U of A Desert Yearbook with 7 pages marked where you're pictured. So now, let's show our appreciation for these Paul Harris Fellows.
Thank you. Dan, I know we've got a raffle. I think we're over $1,000 now. 1128.
So we have $1,128 in the pot, and today's winner will get $107. And so what we're doing is getting a chance to pick a card, which is the King of Clubs. So I'm going to ask Dr. Wong.
Watch him.
We got 153057. 153057. That'll be you. All right. I knew there was. And I'm going to ask past President Jen if she would pick the card. No winner. 10 of diamonds. There are 29 cards left.
You know, if we can pull up the next slide. You know, Dave, I know that you're gonna have to run out in just a minute, but I'm glad that you're still here. This photo of Bob Schaff ended up showing up, probably went out internationally because we know that everybody's a wildcat around the world. And Bob, do you mind standing up for a minute? Nope, there you are. You know, not only do you get this kind of international press, but I kind of feel that there's a fine in order. Do you not only for this international press, but do you know why you should be fined for this photo? We don't see that you have your Rotary pin on. So what I want to know is just exactly how much do you think this international press All right. Thank you. Thank you, Bob. Okay, a couple quick announcements before we get Bobby up here. One is the blood drive. Can we play that quick video? The blood drive is going to be next week, 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Please sign up and consider donating.
I'm here today to tell you that giving blood passes the four-way test. Is it the truth? You betcha. Is it fair to all concerned? How could it not be fair? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? You betcha. And will it be beneficial to all concerned? Absolutely. Each unit of blood has the potential to save up to 3 lives. What is better than that? You can sign up at the registration table outside the meeting room.
All right. So sign up in the back of the room. Bobby and Jeannie, I'm going to have you guys make your way up. 2 other announcements. One is, so our meeting to vet our charities is next week. So the 3 charities that are going to be doing their presentations, so we're hoping that you'll be able to turn out. We'll be identifying our primary beneficiary as well as our 2 secondary beneficiaries. And one other is next Wednesday is our inaugural whiskey fellowship. So for you guests, you think that we only come here for lunch, but there are still some spots available. If you're interested in participating, see Brett Stein. And Bobby, I think we've got a car show coming up.
Okay, good morning. I just want to let you know, as ticket sales chairperson, we are right now, actually as of this morning, at 29%. We beat out, that was Sunday night's record. And I really appreciate the progress that's being made. And as Tommy was saying, we want to be impactful. So with all the guests that we have here, if somebody at your table hasn't asked you yet to buy a car show ticket, we have some for sale at the back. And we want to be impactful and benefit Pima J. Ted. So I just want to say things are picking up, and if you haven't started selling your tickets, now is the time. We have just 3 more Wednesdays to turn in the money, and it's coming in a little bit stronger online, which is good. If you want to hit the next slide, these are people in red that have just hit the marks of hitting 40 or to 99 tickets. Todd Ackerman, Tom Campbell, Bruce Elwin, Bill Harlow, John Harlow, Ann Lancero, and Doug Lowell. And the next slide, Daryl Stewart and Bruce Tunzi are in that category, so we're up to 45 people that have hit that range of 40 or more. And the next slide shows those who've jumped up a level. Larry Adamson, Joni Condit, and Jim Murphy, and Bob O'Brien have all hit that 100 to 249 range. And watch for where Mark Irvin is going to land in this chart next week, because he sent out his letters to people this weekend, and that thing has just been booming. So if all of you would do your email template, and if you need one to know how to do it, come back and see me at the table. We're going to get there. We also have classic club tickets available at the back table for those of you that would like to do the $50 ticket, where you can be in an air-conditioned tent, have lunch and drinks and a more private bathroom. It's a great place to hang out with people. And it's time to start signing up for the Friday night dinner. It's available on site, and it's, I think, $15, and we want to make sure we know how many people are coming. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon. So like sports at both Pima Community College and U of A, the car show is a team effort. So the volunteer website, it's part of the car show website. It is alive and well and working. And if you haven't visited, I hope that you will as soon as possible. We are taking all of the signups online. It's really simple. Who's done it that says it's simple? Oh, see, lots of you have done it. That's simple, and you should get an email back when you do that registration. If you don't see it in your email, look in your spam, because it may not recognize my or our responding email back. So all of the positions are listed. We have pre-show, we have day of show, and we have post-show. And for those of you who are new members, we ask that you please sign up for car slotting. That is Friday afternoon, late in the afternoon, from 2:30 to 5:30, and early Saturday morning, 5:45 to about 9:30, 10 o'clock when the show begins. Plus, for new members, if you could please sign up for a spot selling parking and tickets to the event. We have to have Rotarians taking money, and so we prefer that you shift into that role. Of course, all of our members are welcome to take those kinds of responsibilities on, and any of you who are here as guests today, we'd love to have you volunteer as well if you would be interested, so that can maximize our gift to JTED. It's really easy to sign up. You can see first name, last name, cell phone, email, press sign up. It's that simple. It really is that simple. The other thing that we need a lot of help with is the parking and traffic security. It's really important that we maintain a very safe environment for our guests. And so thank you to everyone who has signed up. We do have multiple spots that are available for 15 to 18-year-olds. In the description, can you scroll up a tiny bit, please? You can see it says what the job is and how many spaces are available. It gives a description, and please be aware, if it is open for students that are 15 to 18, it will list it there so that we can have younger people participate in a number of these things. For those of you who are chairs of different committees, you will get lists in a couple of weeks. There will also be an email reminder that goes out to people 4 days in advance that you don't even have to do. It's coming from the website gods. And so it's going to go out, and it will tell them where to sign in for volunteers, where to park, what they've committed to do, what you should wear, all of that good stuff. And then if you need any help signing up this afternoon, I'm sitting right here in the front next to Mr. Lubinsky. I am happy to stay late and help you with that. And also, I get a lot of emails from people, so please be patient. I do work full-time, and I'm trying to do this all after work and on weekends. And it's a pretty big amount of volume, and so be patient with me if I don't get back to you right away. Thank you so much. We appreciate your helping with volunteers.
Thanks, Marcy. Very quickly, I have 3 things I wanted to cover. First, I wanted to, Bert, if you'd please stand up. Bert is a major sponsor for us in this year's show, and he's going to have 3 cars there that your jaws will drop if you come to the show. So please come. Thank you, Bert, very much. Secondly, in 2 weeks, we're going to have a little silent auction. Instead of the big auction we'd have at the Friday night party, we're having a silent auction here at the club. And so it'll be October 5th. We're going to have 5 lots of Jerry Harris's fabulous wines, more info to follow. And you non-Rotarians, you don't have to join Rotary for a chance to purchase these. You can just have one of your friends that's in Rotary. They can bid for you on the silent auction. That's in 2 weeks. We also have Don Shropshire, past CEO of TMC, some of his beautiful Southwest jewelry, and a replica Formula One Lotus team member's jacket. So just a few little things just to get a little bit extra money for JTED. And finally, the big news that hopefully you'll pay attention to is Conrad Plimpton, most of you know. Conrad has been willing to sponsor the Jovert Steel Drum Band. He'll put in a $5,000 if we can match that as a club. I will put in $2,500 of that $5,000. So that leaves $2,500, hopefully coming from you folks here at $100 a pop. We get 25 of you. That $100 turns into $10,000. So please, if you would, at the end of the show, well, actually, just raise your hand. Carrie's got a list right there. If you want to do that, because that will really help us get to $10,000 more for JTED. Thank you very much for your time.
I'll let her know. All right, just a real quick wrap up. For those of you that attended, we appreciate you turning out, and for those of you that turned in virtually, I hope you enjoyed the program. If anybody cares to contribute to the scholarship cups for Pima and U of A, those are on the tables. Thank you for those that have been contributing to my Miles for Memory campaign. And if you're interested in contributing, we've got sheets in the back. So, Bert, thank you very much for HSL sponsoring us today. We really appreciate it. Curtis and David, happy birthday. Candy and Monty, congratulations on your Paul Harris. And as honorary members, welcome, Bert. Glad to have you here. And if we could wrap up with a quote. I figured it was appropriate. I knew that the coach was going to have to head out early, but I figured maybe to wrap up with a few quotes from John Wooden. Things turn out best for people who make the best out of the way things turn out. Failure is not fatal, but failure to change might be. Never mistake activity with achievement, and it's the little details that are vital. Little things make big things happen. And, you know, the one thing I have to say about Coach Lloyd is since he arrived in Tucson, he's focused on the details and he's made big things happen. So, go Cats, and we are adjourned.
You see Nancy Stockton here? Or Sharon Fenton?
I have not.
Yeah, great meeting, Bruce.
Oh, thank you, Joe.
Hey! Thank you. What, 81? I wasn't kidding you. You lay in bed and you go, oh, it's not going to work tomorrow. But there's a one wise man once said, it puts lead in your pencil. But you got to have somebody to write to. And there's not a 75 or 77-year-old woman that I know that wants to be written. I don't know one of them.